Alma and her sister relocate from Jakarta to Surabaya, where she takes up a job as a manager of an apartment complex. After attending to a water leaking complaint from a tenant, she explores the forbidden 6th floor, specifically apartment 610, where the source of the leak is originating from. However, this apartment has a horrible curse. A woman bathing her child exclaims to Alma, 4 days, sunset, then disappears. Over the course of the next 4 days, a series of supernatural incidents occur, leading Alma, her sister, and Alma's police officer boyfriend to uncover the deadly truth hidden in apartment 610. Would you believe me if I told you that this was based on a true story? I'm not sure how much of a selling point that is now with Indonesian cinema, because virtually every film seems to be telling you that it's either based on a true story or based on a viral story or based on something. It's becoming such a common phrase now that I'm not sure it adds any validity anymore. It just makes the films look rather generic nowadays. Now, thankfully, this is not a direct sequel to the rather bland first film, confusingly titled Haunted Hotel in English, which has now ruined the naming conventions of this series. Along with the blandness, the previous movie also starred Luna Maya, complete with her bored, wooden acting and lack of enthusiasm. But the premise is unfortunately still the same, literally identical. So if you liked the first film, then you most likely will like this film as well. It's almost as if the writer, director and producer were hoping that you'd completely forgotten about the first film. To be honest, I had completely forgotten about the first film until I remembered that Luna Maya was in it, because all they've done is change the names of the characters, the location, and what floor the curse is actually set on. Almost everything else about the first movie feels the same in this movie. Almost everything. One of the biggest confusions that I did have with this film is why the spirit was determined to kill Alma and her sister Mia before the 4-day time limit was up. I mean, why are you giving them a 4-day time limit if you're going to kill them before that? They were trying to help the spirit, and I'm assuming the spirit knew that they were trying to help her. And yet, with the exception of the car accident scene that happens in the movie, this spirit is just absolutely trying its hardest to kill these two girls and the boyfriend. Now, you might think all I do is pick on Indonesian horror movies and talk about the doom and the gloom. And if I'm going to be honest, last year was a pretty bad year for Indonesian horror movies. And it was utter crap, let's be honest. But thankfully, and this is going to be a surprise, I don't think this movie fits in that pile. I know you're thinking, wow, it's really strange. For one, this movie has a really impressive drone shot that follows a character down a very cramped hallway. I really loved that. I'm a simple person, by the way. And that's coupled with my favorite shot in cinema, which is called the Hitchcock zoom. And if you don't know what that zoom is, it was made famous in the movie Vertigo. And what that does is it involves the main person in frame being completely stationary, being completely in frame, while the background behind them zooms in or zooms out. And this is achieved by the cameraman walking backwards or using a dolly to go backwards while zooming in at the same time. Quite a complex a shot that to achieve in analog, probably really easy to do with digital cameras now, but back when it was first invented, quite a complex, difficult shot to do. And I have pulled it off once when trying to do it with a VHS camera, believe it or not. It's such an awesome shot when it's used the way it's used in this film, and I think the film actually uses that shot to perfection. Look, I am a sucker for really good cinematography, and while I'm not saying, Dean Semlis levels of cinematography in this movie, there are just some really great shots, some great camera angles that are used in this film that really made me kind of immerse myself a little bit more in the film, because God knows the story was a load of naff, and I didn't really want to follow along too much with the storyline. And it's not just the drone shots and the Hitchcock zoom, it's also a lot of the tilting and panning, and even the underwater scenes that happen around the middle part of the movie. Loved them. I found myself more captivated by the idea of making this film, especially some of the practical effects that were used in the body dismembering bits, than the actual film itself. And I do love those body dismembering bits too. This means, for me anyway, that the movie was not a complete waste of time. If you're not a cinema nerd like I am, then perhaps you're thinking that this movie will belong in the average pile. But I honestly don't believe that it does deserve to be there. There's enough here to kind of elevate it just a little bit more, but just a little bit more. So using my patent pending ghost rating, which stands for great horror or stupid trash, I'll give this 3 ghosts out of 5. That's higher than what I would normally have given a film like this. But it's all the little technical cinematography bits and practical effects that kind of lured me back in. Yes, there's some digital crap in this film, I get it, yes, but there's also a lot of other stuff that just makes me enjoy the film so much more, and definitely so much more than that first movie. The first movie now feels like a bit of a testing ground, a beta, if you wish, for this movie. And this movie has kind of taken that concept and turned it into something else. And of course, now that we've got the stuffed up naming conventions, be interesting to know what part 3 will be called in English. Anyway, I'm the Artie Dans. You are watching SHOCKMANIA. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have you seen The Haunted Apartment Miss K? And if you have, what did you think of it? Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts as always. Otherwise, like, subscribe, all that other bullshit. And I will catch you next time.